G Squad? Welcome back to my channel. I know who I am, where we talk about faith, identity, and purpose. I'm so happy that you guys joined in again. Day 3 of the Valentine's Day series. I'm going to try my best to get those videos to you as soon as possible. I just wanted to touch on one of the last topics before I hit the road. Your girl will be in Orlando because I am not crying myself a river on Valentine's Day this year. Okay. So if you don't leave up anything, the most important thing that I want everyone to get out of these different suggestions and tips when it comes to approaching relationships, especially new relationships, whether you're in one or if you're new to one or if you feel like you're ready to get into one, is taking responsibility. So the Lord was dealing with me with the topic of being emotionally responsible. A lot of times for women as men, when we get out of a situation or we go into a situation, we don't really have the best control of our emotions, and we are not evenly regulated, and it just caused a complete disaster because we don't know how to keep our emotions in check, and we allow them to get the best over us, and we get overwhelmed by it, which is normal for us, but it's not to say that it has to be a permanent place that we have to stay in. So God gave me an analogy a couple of months ago, which I like to call buyer's remorse. And he showed me basically going to a store, and when you go to a store, there is a transaction that is happening, and you have a buyer and you have a seller. Now, when you buy whatever that you're buying, you are bringing something, some type of currency, some type of money, or whatever type of exchange to the seller, at your own risk, at your own chances. So you see something that you like, something that you're interested in, and guess what? You take what it is that you already have and you try to make some type of transactional exchange with the seller. Now, the seller does not owe you anything. They don't owe you an explanation. They don't owe you any tips on like why this product may not be the best for you. Like, their main priority is to make a sale, basically. And a lot of times, sometimes if you're someone like me, like who buys something out of impulse, or because it's something that's cute, or if I think that I got it on a good sale, that I got a really good deal, when I get home, typically, or over time, like once I start, having to face it, you have that thing what we call buyer's remorse, okay? And that's where like you start regretting your purchase. Was it worth the sacrifice? Was it worth me dipping into my savings and my budget and what so have you? So God was just showing me that analogy, and he was also just giving me a parallel perspective on how we can do that in relationships. So we meet somebody, we think they're a good catch, the externals look good, and we think that we're getting a good deal, and we have this sort of emotional transaction with them, right? And that can go either right or left, and the times when it goes left and we when we start to fall into that buyer's remorse, we start to put ill feelings on to the person, this person deceived me, this person did this person did that. Not to take away from someone's wrong or ill actions or intentions, but at the end of the day, it is something that us as women and as men, we have to be careful about what we purchase and what we choose to cash in, because at the end of the day, these are products that are going to have to stick with us, and we're not going to always like somebody's 30-day policy. And I want people to start getting out of the mindset that just because you don't have a good situation with someone, or if it's a situation that ends in chaos, or whatever the case may be, it does not make the person a bad person. And that's something that I had to come out of, because a lot of times, when you get out of a situationship or a relationship, you may associate with that person with their actions or their characteristics. This person is evil. Y'all know how y'all do. This person is evil. Like this person did this person hurt me, X, Y, and Z, or whatever. But guess what? When you are at a store and you're purchasing something, that seller, no matter where they're at, whether they are an excellent seller, whether they are a okay salesperson, whatever the case may be, wherever they at in their process and in their walk, their priority and their objective is still to sell you something, and it is up to us whether we want to purchase or buy into that or not. So we can't keep, it's 2020, and we cannot keep blaming people when we choose to buy the dreams that they sell us, and sometimes it's not even intentional. Hurt people meet us where they are. It is part of our synthetic makeup and human nature to give the best of ourselves. When you go into an interview, you're not telling them, well, you know what, I can be a little lazy sometimes. You know, like, you don't do that. Like, you sell yourself, okay? You market yourself in a way that is appealing to someone. So when it comes to relationships, we have to have that same amount of responsibility with our actions. We have to be able to assess it and actually examine the product and say, is this something that can, one, glorify God, glorify my walk with God, keep me sane, keep me leveled. Leveled means it's not something that's making you crazy, that's not something that's stressing you out, it's not something that you're going to regret and have that buyer's remorse over lately. It's something that you can be at peace with. It's something that it's an investment, a healthy investment. A lot of times we invest in things that we don't necessarily need, you know, things that that are luxuries. Like, is this a luxury? Is this just an external thing for me, or is this a necessity? Okay. And three, asking yourself, which should actually in a sense be one, but you know, you can always just come back to three, asking yourself if you are emotionally stable to be able to deal with that. Like, once you are able to see people for who they are and come out of a situation and realize, okay, I had a part in this, okay, I chose this, I allowed this to happen, I gave permission for this, that's when you know that you are in a sense somewhat mature to indulge in some type of emotional transaction with another human being. If you're not ready to take that on, if you're not ready to be honest with yourself, you're gonna be like Drake said,
you mad that you bought the dream and they sold you one, and you love your friends so much, it's so
like, we can't go on continuing to blame people. The cashier at your favorite store, whether that be Target or Walmart, they don't have to respect your budget. They don't have to respect your sacrifices. There is no sort of emotional connection that they have with a buyer, nor do they identify with your purchase. So sometimes we go in and we see something as a sacrifice, and we want somebody to equally see it as that. We want them to see, I spent my last on this. You know, I cracked up my piggy bank so I could bring this to you, and we can partake in this transaction. You know, and in a relationship, we expect people to respect that, and you know, and be like, well, you know what, she did do this, you know, she was on a budget, you know, she did, you know, cross a boundary to be able to have this. But that's not how it goes in the store. If you want to drop, you know, 1K on a bag or a Pampers or something like that, like, the seller is gonna be like, okay, ma'am, okay, you enjoy your purse or whatever. So it's the same thing when you get into a situation with someone and you two are emotionally immature. That person typically is not going to talk themselves out of a win. I wish we could live in a world where people are just honest and are able to say, hey, I'm not ready yet, or hey, maybe it's not time for us to be in a situation. I'm a bad buy, or this won't be an effective purchase. But that's not the world that we live in, and we have to be honest with ourselves. We can't control other people. We can just control how we respond and how we are in real life. When it comes to dealing with these different types of issues, we can control how we react and respond to certain situations when it comes to our things that are going to affect us emotionally, and that's going to affect our feelings and our state of being, our mind, our peace of mind. There is not enough money in the world that can afford somebody your peace of mind. So what you can do is use discernment and be more wise about the choices and the purchases that you're making, whether that be in real life or if that be with a person. You know, start taking responsibility for your actions and how it is that you interact with people, because at the end of the day, like John Legend said, we're all just ordinary people. Okay, so I hope that helps someone. I really love you guys, and at the end of the day, do not forget to know who you are, because I know exactly who I am. Bye, y'all.